Welcome to Learning Life Content. Like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. This helps us to grow and motivates us to bring more interesting stories from history. Imagine ancient Athens. The sun warms the marble streets. Citizens gather in the marketplace. This is not just a place to buy and sell. This is where ideas are born. Athens is a democracy. Citizens debate politics, philosophy and art. They believe in the power of reason and knowledge. In this vibrant city, a young man named Plato will change the world. He will ask big questions. His ideas will echo through centuries. Plato is born around 428 BC. His family is wealthy and powerful. They expect him to enter politics. But Plato is drawn to philosophy. He wants to understand the world around him. He wants to know the truth. One day, Plato meets Socrates. Socrates is a philosopher. He asks challenging questions. He makes people think. Plato becomes Socrates' student. He learns about logic, ethics and justice. He realizes that true knowledge comes from questioning everything. The allegory of the cave, one of many Plato's philosophy. Imagine prisoners trapped in a cave. They are chained in such a way that they can only look at the wall in front of them. They've been there since birth, never seeing the outside world. They have never seen the outside world. Behind them, there is a fire, and between the prisoners and the fire, there is a parapet along which puppeteers can walk. The puppeteers, who are behind the prisoners, cast shadows on the wall of the cave. The prisoners watch these shadows, believing them to be the only reality. One day, one prisoner escapes. He sees the real world for the first time. At first, he is overwhelmed by the brightness of the sun and the vividness of the colors. He is blinded by the light. His eyes, accustomed only to the dim shadows of the cave, struggle to adjust to the brilliance of the outside world. He's amazed by the beauty. He sees trees, rivers and the sky for the first time, realizing that the shadows in the cave were mere illusions. The escaped prisoner returns to the cave. He wants to share his newfound knowledge with the others. He tries to explain what he has seen. He tells them about the outside world, the sun, and the true forms of the objects they have only seen as shadows. But the other prisoners don't believe him. They are skeptical and think he is delusional. They think he is crazy. They mock him and refuse to listen to his stories about the outside world. This is Plato's allegory of the cave. It is a powerful metaphor for the human condition and our journey towards enlightenment. It is a metaphor for how we learn. Plato suggests that most people live in a world of shadows, mistaking sensory knowledge for the truth. We are like the prisoners in the cave. We see only the shadows of reality, not the true forms of things. We only see shadows of reality. Our perceptions are limited by our senses and our experiences. True knowledge, Plato believed, comes from questioning what we see. It involves a deeper understanding that goes beyond mere appearances. It comes from using our reason and logic. By questioning and seeking the truth, we can move from the darkness of the cave into the light of knowledge and understanding. Plato believed in a just and ordered society. He envisioned a world where each individual played a role that suited their abilities and virtues. This vision was deeply rooted in his philosophy of the ideal state, where harmony and justice prevailed. Plato's ideas were not just theoretical musings, they were a blueprint for a society that could achieve true happiness and fulfillment for all its members. He thought that philosophers should be kings. In his view, those who had the wisdom and knowledge to understand the deeper truths of life were best suited to lead. Philosophers, with their love for wisdom and pursuit of truth, would govern not for personal gain, but for the common good. This idea was revolutionary. suggesting that the rulers should be the most enlightened individuals in society. He believed they were best suited to rule. Their ability to see beyond the superficial and understand the essence of justice and virtue made them ideal leaders. Plato argued that only those who truly understood what was good for the society as a whole could make decisions that would benefit everyone. This was a stark contrast to the rulers of his time, who often sought power for their own benefit. Plato outlined 5 forms of government. These forms ranged from the most ideal to the most corrupt. Each form represented a different way of organizing society and distributing power. Plato's classification was not just a theoretical exercise, it was a critique of the political systems of his time and a guide for future generations. He ranked them from best to worst. This ranking was based on how closely each form aligned with his vision of justice and the common good. The best form of government, according to Plato, was one where rulers were guided by wisdom and virtue. The worst was one where power was concentrated in the hands of a single tyrannical ruler. First, aristocracy, ruled by the best, the philosopher kings. In an aristocracy, the wisest and most virtuous individuals govern. They rule not for personal gain, but for the benefit of all. This form of government is the closest to Plato's ideal state, where justice and harmony prevail. Second, timocracy, ruled by those who value honor and glory. In a timocracy, the rulers are motivated by a desire for honor and recognition. While this form of government is not as ideal as an aristocracy, it is still better than the more corrupt forms. The rulers in a timocracy are often warriors or military leaders who seek to achieve glory through their actions. Third, oligarchy, ruled by the wealthy few. In an oligarchy, power is concentrated in the hands of a small wealthy elite. These rulers govern primarily to protect their own interests and maintain their wealth. This form of government is less just than a timocracy, as it often leads to inequality and social unrest. Fourth, democracy, rule by the people. In a democracy, all citizens have a say in how they are governed. While this form of government promotes equality and participation, Plato believed it had inherent flaws. He argued that without proper guidance, the masses could make poor decisions that would ultimately harm society. And fifth, tyranny, rule by a single absolute ruler. In a tyranny, one person holds all the power and governs without regard for the common good. This form of government is the most corrupt and unjust, according to Plato. Tyrants rule through fear and oppression, leading to widespread suffering and chaos. Plato believed democracy would eventually fail. He argued that the lack of wisdom and virtue among the masses would lead to poor decision-making. Over time, this would result in instability and conflict, paving the way for a tyrant to seize power. He thought it would lead to chaos and tyranny. The transition from democracy to tyranny was, in Plato's view, almost inevitable. As the democratic system broke down, people would become desperate for order and security, making them susceptible to the promises of a tyrant. His ideas about government are still debated today. Scholars and thinkers continue to explore Plato's theories, examining their relevance to modern political systems. While some aspects of his philosophy may seem outdated, the core principles of justice, wisdom, and the common good remain timeless. They remind us to think about the best ways to govern ourselves. Plato's insights encourage us to reflect on the qualities we value in our leaders and the structures we create to support a just and harmonious society. His work serves as a guide for those who seek to build a better world. Section 5. Beyond the Cave, Plato's Life and Legacy. Socrates is sentenced to death for his beliefs. Plato is devastated. He leaves Athens and travels the world. He studies mathematics, astronomy, and music. He learns about different cultures and ideas. After many years, Plato returns to Athens. He founds the Academy. It is a school of philosophy. The Academy becomes a centre of learning. Students from all over the world come to study there. Section 6. Socrates, the teacher who ignited a mind. Socrates had a profound influence on Plato. He taught Plato to question everything. He taught him to think critically. Socrates believed in the power of dialogue. He used questions to challenge people's assumptions. He never wrote down his ideas. We know about Socrates through Plato's writings. Plato's dialogues often feature Socrates as the main character. Through these dialogues, Socrates' teachings live on. Section 7. Aristotle, the student who shaped the world. Aristotle is Plato's most famous student. He becomes a brilliant philosopher in his own right. Aristotle studies at the Academy for 20 years. He learns from Plato. He also develops his own ideas. Aristotle is known for his work in logic, science and ethics. He lays the foundation for Western thought. Plato and Aristotle's relationship is complex. They are both brilliant thinkers. They also disagree on many things, but their shared love of knowledge shapes Western civilization. Section 8. The written word, Plato's enduring dialogues. Plato writes down his ideas in the form of dialogues. These dialogues are conversations between different characters. They explore themes of justice, beauty and truth. They are still studied and debated today. Plato's most famous dialogues include The Republic, which explores the ideal society and the nature of justice, the Symposium, which examines the nature of love and beauty, and the Apology, which recounts the trial and defense of Socrates. Plato's writing is both beautiful and challenging. It makes us think about the big questions in life. Section 9. A legacy of thought. Plato's impact on Western civilization. Plato dies in 347 BC, but his ideas live on, transcending the boundaries of time and space. His philosophical inquiries and teachings have left an indelible mark on the fabric of Western civilization. His ideas live on, influencing countless generations. From the dawn of the Renaissance to the modern era, Plato's thoughts have been a guiding light for many. They influence philosophers, writers, and artists for centuries. His dialogues, filled with profound questions and answers, have inspired creative minds to explore the depths of human existence and the nature of reality. Plato's work shapes Western philosophy, religion, and politics. His vision of an ideal society, as depicted in The Republic, continues to be a reference point for political theorists and leaders. His ideas about justice, truth, and the ideal society are still relevant today. In classrooms around the world, students engage with his concepts, debating and discussing their implications for contemporary society. We can learn from Plato's emphasis on reason and critical thinking. His method of dialectic or dialogue encourages us to question assumptions and seek deeper understanding. We can be inspired by his search for truth and wisdom. Plato's allegory of the cave, for instance, challenges us to look beyond the shadows and illusions of our world to grasp the underlying truths. Plato's legacy reminds us that the unexamined life is not worth living. This powerful statement urges us to reflect on our lives, our choices, and our beliefs. He challenges us to think deeply about the world around us. In doing so, we honor his legacy and continue the quest for knowledge and understanding that he began over 2 millennia ago. Thank you for watching Learning Life content. Like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. This helps us to grow and motivates us to bring more interesting stories from history.